So in this video, I want to talk about a couple of things. One specific tweet I want to go over just so I can give some pre-warnings to some people. It hasn't affected me personally, but it may affect you. And I'll explain the context to it because I think some people don't know what's triggering it. But definitely things have been quite interesting over the last 24 hours, 48 hours as far as things have gone. There's been a lot of changes in the censorship stuff that Japan's trying to push back. There are certain politicians in Australia trying to push back against the e-commissioner, the e-safety commissioner, however you want to put it, that's basically pushing this whole under 16 kind of regulation and systems in place. There's a lot more push against it. UK has gone into absolute dismal train wreck. They're talking about more censorship laws, saying that they should censor even more stuff now than ever before. Basically saying that, oh no, it's not just about kids anymore. We just want to censor everything on the internet and stop you from even being able to see anything under the guise of safety. And this is exactly what I mean, is that it starts off as, oh, we're just protecting the kids, and then it's, oh no, we just want to protect everyone else and choose what you can and can't see, and then it's just mask off, let's just censor everything. And this is why I get irritated at those that constantly defend this kind of stuff. And by me calling out this stuff, I have upset a lot of content creators on the far left. And again, I've stated in my past videos, this shouldn't be a left versus right. This should be us versus them in the sense of those that defend censorship. Because there are people on the far right, the far left that are defending censorship. But it seems to be I have riled up a couple of left-leaning content creators, very hard left-leaning content creators, for exposing hypocrisies, political posturing, propaganding certain videos in certain ways. And again, here's the thing. If you want to make a video talking about censorship, naturally you're going to talk about politics, right? If you're talking about these certain particular topics, politics is going to become a major part of that conversation. There's nothing wrong with that, and I've never stated there is. But my issue comes down to when, say, for example, and I'll use a hypothetical, let's say someone makes a high school DxD video and then they politicize it. It's like, okay, but where's the politics in? It's like, why are you using real world politics and ham-fisting in? An actual real example would be Free Ran, when it got politicized and weaponized by content creators. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to these very much left-leaning content creators that are politicizing things. There are some right-leaning content creators in other spaces, like gaming spaces, that are politicizing certain things, like certain movies and games and stuff that are... And I mean, a great example would be Our Last Crusade and the Rise of a New World. People were trying to claim that that was woke because it got censored, but it wasn't. It was just the animation quality was terrible. I've mentioned that in the last video. So I'm trying to give examples of context here, because a lot of people are trying to look for little angles and strings to pull from to try and defred things. But again, my points have always been concrete. It's just a lot of people will try and straw man or try and add their own little spin to things. Politics in itself being discussed is inherently not a bad thing, but it is when it's been ham-fisted into conversations that have nothing to do with it, which is exactly what I've been exposing and exactly what I've been pointing out. And especially a lot of the grifters and the anime type hater groups out there that are pretending to like anime just so they can infiltrate. And I get it, the algorithm works in the way that it does, so it's like making Mr. Beast style content. It's profitable, it's great. But I've definitely riled up some feathers. I've definitely upset some individuals that are very pro this kind of mindset and have now decided to set their gazes on me, which I was warned by many content creators in DMs that this would inevitably happen, that certain individuals, and they named names, and all the names on the list are turning on me. They're all ganging up because they're all part of a specific clique group, that are all part of a certain narrative. And again, if you're left-leaning, there's nothing wrong with that. But these are very hard, hypocritical left people. And yes, Mother's Basement is now one of them. He is claiming that I have stolen his thumbnail frame design. I know someone in my comment section in my last video was like, what does that even mean? It's like, yeah. He's basically trying to claim that he owns a thumbnail frame design. Dude's literally deranged. And I've said for ages, dude's not changed. He's just taken the mask off now. So, congratulations. That's the best you've got. Also, they complained about my shirts. Apparently, I wear the same shirt too much. I have a washing machine. Also, these are just my pajamas. I wear them when I make content. When I go out, wear different shirts. It's so stupid that I have to explain that because a bunch of lefty psychopaths are mad and jealous that I'm exposing them. So, even my own fans are just like, is that the best they've got? Yes, that's the best they've got. The shirts I wear the memes I post, and apparently the frame on my video is apparently stolen, even though I had it made, well, a friend of mine made it 8 years ago. So it's like I had actually different colors. Fun fact. I had green, blue, red, and then there's purple. And I had a color code for different types of content. Green was reviews, red was news, blue was character analysis and topical videos, and then purple was miscellaneous, because I had like fact-based videos. And then when I kind of removed a lot of that content off of this channel and moved it over to my other channel, I kind of just solidified it into just purple, because I was just like, oh, I like the color purple. So I just kind of made it as one kind of color, and it just made it a little bit simpler. I think some people knew how the color coding worked, but it added an unnecessary complication into content, and then I kind of just didn't want to do as much certain other content. So yeah, fun fact. And I'd been using it since pretty much like when I was doing gaming, which was like well before that. It's an old thumbnail frame. Many other channels use it, so no, an individual content creator doesn't own the rights. So it reminds me of when VTubers try to claim art styles and certain like color palettes as their own. It's like the most petty, vindictive thing, but what do you expect from him? I'll be honest, it's the kind of thing that I expect. So one of the first things I want to go over is the YouTube restriction thing. So YouTube is, so to explain how this works, I've checked mine, it's off. A lot of other people I've asked have stated that it is off for them. I believe what happens is if you are flagged as under a certain age by their AI, it then puts it on, which is where, like I said, that's where you're going to have to then verify to be able to turn it off. So I think if YouTube's AI sees that you are watching content that would be perceived to them as young content, like young kids content or whatever, it's hard to use that word and be like actually taken serious. It's like, oh, children's content. It's like, what do they classify as children? That's what I mean. It's kind of stupid. Like, is Mr. Beast content children based, etc., etc.? It's like, so clearly when they flag that, they then turn it on, which then restricts what you can see. And a lot of content creators have pointed out videos that shouldn't be age restricted are getting age restricted. There's potential that a lot of my videos are getting age restricted on both channels. So that is very much possible. So check it. I would recommend check it. It's to make sure I can see where it is. It's basically where the display picture is on your top right hand corner. I just want to kind of grab it because I just get like weird my recommendations is kind of gone wonkos, but yeah, it's just up here. Where is it? Yeah, restricted mode right here. So yeah, that's as simple as that. Check it, see if it's off, see it's on. If it's on, I have a feeling you might have to verify your account, which is really stupid and annoying, but yeah. So the next other thing that I also wanted to talk about was, so a lot of people have been banking on the fact that Elon Musk is going to be making his own X money system. I was watching a couple of tech channels and I found out that apparently X money has been basically postponed or kind of delayed because of regulation in the US. And so what's happening is he has to get state approval. Again, if you like Elon, you do, you don't, I don't care. I'm just going over the fact that we need more options to counter Visa and MasterCard and PayPal. But a lot of people were banking on X money on X. And so there was this whole idea that it was going to come out later this year. It may still very well. But there are still 9 states that need to approve it. And one of those, or some of those, have been constantly declining. And when I was watching this tech channel, they pointed something out. They said, all 9 states have one thing in common. They're all blue states. So it seems to be that a lot of these blue states do not want, either it's A, because they don't like Elon, because of political reasons, which just demonstrates that your system is corrupt, and it's easily to have politicians go rogue, just like my country. Or potentially Visa and MasterCard are kicking up a stink saying, no, we don't want this approved, and they're trying to use what states they can get, and maybe the blue ones are the easiest ones to corrupt. It could be either or, it could be both. You can decide what the reasoning is, but I'm simply just stating the facts that all 9 states that are blocking X money are blue states. Elon wants all of it to be approved before he makes it accessible to all of America, and then it'll go to other countries. If I was him, I'd try and get other countries to approve first. Say, like, go to Japan and be like, hey, can we get approval in Japan? And then allow people in Japan to start moving money around on their platform, and then try and get smaller countries while you wait for America. I get America's like the big one that they want to work with, but try and maybe work with small ones, build it up, and then, because that way it might scare some of those blue states to be like, hey, we're being hindered here, we're falling behind. Or at least just try and maybe work within the states that do work, and then just don't work with the states that don't yet. I don't know. It's difficult to say what Elon could do. I'm sure there are some workarounds, but you've also got to remember, they did announce at the start of this year that X Payment would be using Visa as well, the infrastructure for Visa. And I do believe at some point there's the potential that Elon might end up building his own infrastructure away from Visa. The reason why I believe that is because SpaceX has been pushing away from using AT&T technology when it comes to satellite radar kind of stuff, antenna, radar, laser stuff. I can't get the exact word, but those kinds of things. So there is some hope down at the end of the light, at the end of the tunnel when it comes to these kinds of things, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. I would like to see Steam create their own payment system for their own platform. That way you don't have to use PayPal or Visa or MasterCard to be able to buy games. You could maybe just have your Steam directly linked to your bank account, and you just put like an authentication code or a two-authentication or some other type of security measures to be like, hey, I want to pay for this, put the code in, boom, takes it directly out of your bank account. I wish there was more of that type of system where direct bank to payment system rather than having to rely on things like PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, etc. Because the only other option is if you don't want to use PayPal, is you've got to go to things like, in Australia, it's like JB Hi-Fi and EB Games, which is GameStop for Americans, to be able to buy Steam credit to then use it, which I will be doing from now on. I will be limiting my use of PayPal as much as possible, because it's hard to stop using it, but if I can limit its use by at least 10-20%, the more the merrier, because they will notice on their stock holdings and conference meetings, they will say, hey, our usage has dropped by 5, 10, 15, 20%, and then they've got to ask the question, why? And if it comes down to that simple question of this is why, then there might be shareholders that will go, well, no, you need to stop doing this censorship stuff. It's the same when I made in the last video about the gaming stuff, where Visa was trying to get into gaming and a lot of people screamed out and said, no, this is stupid, and then they pulled back. They may still try it again later on when the dust is settled, but it demonstrates when voices unite together to call it out, change can happen, which is why you're seeing a lot of content creators try to silence people now, because these are people that want censorship. They want this system of everything is problematic, everything is wrong, and these people claim themselves to be anime fans, which is why I've been calling it out. So yeah, again, things have been developing, things have been changing, it's constant tug of war going on. So consider hitting a like, leaving a comment, etc., because the algorithm, the haters, they're all coming, they're all gunning. But I don't ever buckle, I don't ever bend the knee, because, again, I don't believe in censorship. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.